Hey, everybody. It's Dr. Dana Martin, your host here on the Sith the Mini podcast. Welcome. Happy New Year. We have our crew for the last 2 weeks and now the third straight. This is awesome. Cam and Debbie and Darth Zane, aka David Fur. Hey, how are y'all? How was your holiday? Let's just get all this out of the way right now. Cam, how was your holiday?
It was solid. A lot of golf was played. A lot of dominoes were played, and just visited family all week, so it was pretty good.
Golf. It was a little
It was
beautiful.
a
I mean, depending on where you were around here in Texas, though, it was nice in some places.
it was a little chilly, but it was still fun.
Nice. No, no, David.
No, anything below 50 is too cold, and it was like that all week. No,
It's crisp though, man. It's crisp.
I don't care. It's too cold.
Debbie, how was your holiday?
It was kind of gloomy and in the 30s, but
Yeah.
still, still jacket weather, depending on if the sun was out. Now today it was cold because it was gloomy, and the gloominess just did not help. And even sitting in my car when I was eating lunch, it was just like, oh my god.
Are you back at work now?
Today was my first day.
Oh,
I did not sleep well last night, so I'm probably running on 2 hours of sleep because
Mm.
I think my anxiety about going back to work got to me last night. I was out in the garage and my son came out and he goes, "Can't sleep?" I'm like, no, I can't.
Wait, you're not in the garage with the car running though. You're.
No, I
Oh.
was.
I don't
No,
know.
I
What
was smoking
is
a
your
cigarette.
job? And are you? Do we need?
there was smoke involved, but not that kind. Not that kind of smoke.
I was smoking a cigarette and watching Tickety Talks.
Nice. David, how was your holiday, man?
It was good. It was good. Went to the in-laws. Just did the whole typical stay up till midnight, watch the ball drop, watch the festivities for a few minutes afterwards, and then go home and crash.
Heck
It
yeah.
was, I mean, it was the first, you know what? This was the first New Year's, and I can't even tell you how long that I have not had an adult beverage.
What?
Yeah.
Brave.
Well,
Man.
my wife was working that night, and since we were up at the in-laws, I had to drive the boys home. So
Yeah.
I'm not one to partake and then try and drive. So especially with the kids involved. So
Yeah, those are the
I
two reasons
was-
I don't go out. Or three. I'm old. Is the first reason. And two, like I don't trust anyone out there to drive not like responsibly. Like I can't trust that everyone's going to. And then I want to drink, so I'll just stay at home. There you go.
oh, you can now that the kids got it easy today. Now just get you an Uber.
Oh, I
Just-
know.
Call me an Uber.
Like those Ubers are usually like $100 on New Year's. Like,
Oh.
I can't afford that. I'd walk.
Mhm.
My New Year's was pretty chill, man. We just sat around, watched a movie, whatever. Of course, here in 11 o'clock is East Coast midnight, right? Where I'm at, and we watched the ball drop, and Dick Clark's thing, and all right, wife gives me a kiss, and she goes, and I said, "Yeah, awesome, you're gonna now," and then I get one, at midnight. No, I'm going to bed. That was your one.
That was it.
Like,
I was like, man, my wife, she's
Well, that deals with that whole I'm old thing. That's why I don't go out because I'm old. It's midnight somewhere. I can go to bed now.
yeah, man.
what
It was like
what are you
2
guys gonna
till.
do when you're my age? Holy crap!
Man, it was 2 till, and I texted my kids and family then, so that by the time they replied, I was already done brushing my teeth and ready for bed. So
Yeah, I think my daughter texted me about 20 minutes till. She goes, "I didn't know if you'd still be up." But, Happy New Year's."
I was so expecting Debbie to send out messages to everybody. Greetings from the future.
No, I was watching the new Hunger Games movie. It was available on Vudu. So I was watching that. And then I texted my oldest son just real quick before midnight. I was like, "Well, I don't know what you're doing, but Happy New Year," He was at a party, but he did text me back, and my youngest one lives with me, so but
You knew where he was.
yeah, somebody in the neighborhood, I swear to God, we kind of live out in the country, but in a housing edition. And I swear to God, somebody owns a cannon out here. And yeah, it made the windows rattle. I mean, the whole house shook. I was like, holy crap. Scared the crap out of me. And I had my TV loud because I don't want to hear anything. But yeah, that scared the crap out of me. So.
I do miss being irresponsible with combustibles. That's always fun.
Now we did do that. Now every year in the past we've done like good fireworks. We'll buy the mortars with the tube and everything.
Oh yeah.
I mean like show grade, but they upset the dogs last year, so we had to put the kibosh on that. Although there was one funny story that happened out of that, and this was a long time ago. My in-laws lived in Tyler. We lit the fuse on one of those mortars, and it dudded out. It didn't do anything. It's like, well, crap. And so my father says, here, I'll take care of it. He had a bonfire going. I'll get it. And he threw it in the middle of this bonfire.
No.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
Oh, my
It was awesome.
Oh, man.
Now, we had been partaking in adult beverages at that point. And that's one of those.
Yeah, it doesn't mix.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Aren't you too young to drink?
I thought so.
Oh, hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Isn't he in high school?
Well, of course. Then he stayed sober.
Good for him.
Good for you, Andrew. Good on you.
So did I. I
did too.
Well, I don't know what's happened, but back to this old thing. You know, I woke up this morning and I got out of bed. I was like, God, where my shoulder meets my spine. I'm like, I guess I just slept wrong, but no, it just steadily got worse. Like, what happened? What did I do? Did I, lift like a pound of potatoes or something and hurt myself? No, I caught like allergies yesterday, bad, and was sneezing. And now it's like, oh, okay. And when I sneeze, I feel that's that old thing, I think, again.
Yeah. The older you get, I mean, if you sneeze, you cough, you twist the wrong way slightly. I had to go to a chiropractor earlier last year because I had just barely twisted, and yeah, I could barely move after that for like 4 days. And I was doing everything I could possibly think of to take care of it. Nothing worked. And I had to go to a chiropractor. He gave me some exercises to do. And I was like, great. Now I know what to do if I ever land.
I don't want to sit here and tell you that I make weekly visits to the chiropractor.
Oh man. No.
I didn't want to go, but it was bad. I mean,
Cam's like, I don't know if I got to look forward to this the rest of my life. You guys are Debbie Downers, man.
Getting old sounds so much fun.
Okay, so Cam, a lot of mine I can attribute to life in the service. I've got an old man's back just from hauling things. So the VA's paying for it. Let them pay for it.
Yeah,
I'm just old.
Thank you for your service.
Your tax dollars at work.
Well worth it.
That's right.
In that case, yes, well worth it. All right, folks. Thanks for giving us a little recap of what you guys are doing, because it's important that those handful of fans that we create nice rapport with them, and you guys keep joining, and it's awesome. Thank you so much. So we're going to talk about Vader one last time. Well, we'll talk about Vader always, but a show dedicated to him, episode 3, and tonight our title, Vader Reimagined, the future in a galaxy far, far away. Why did I title it that? Because I think what we always assumed would happen with Vader, kind of, at least myself, is not what's happening with Vader. Like they've really leaned into this Anakin Force ghost thing. Which I don't know quite how I feel about it. So I'll let you guys start that off. Oh, we got head shakes already. So we'll start with at the end of Return of the Jedi, which is where we left off in the last show. Where the Force
be in the minority.
Where the Force Ghost of Anakin appears, but it's no longer Sebastian Stan. Or Sebastian.
Yes, Debbie would like that too.
I did. You did that last week.
I-
Oh my gosh. Anyways, it's
That
no
means
longer
I'm
old
lucky.
Darth Vader. It's Hayden's
Shaw.
fate or Hayden now.
Yeah.
And,
Sebastian Shaw. It's Hayden.
So yeah, let's start right there. Apparently there was, and I couldn't locate the article quick enough, but there is a piece somewhere where Lucas explains why he did that. If you guys know, one of you know, please let's talk about that too. So, what are your thoughts? And if you know about the Lucas piece, what did he say? Cam, you can lead us off, man, because you got your head about to fall off your shoulders.
I feel like he wanted to tie it into the prequels. I feel like might have been a reason doing it. Have some connectivity. There's a couple of things where I've appreciated him meddling with the original, some minor tweaks. I don't like Vader screaming no when he's throwing the Emperor down into the Death Star. That's probably my least favorite edit he's ever done. But I mean, I don't really have a big gripe. I mean, with the Hayden appearing at end of Return of the Jedi, I have my gripes extend into the Ahsoka series and the later shows that
How dare.
I've only seen once.
Mm.
So
Debbie?
Well, I mean, yeah, the connection to the prequels, and also I believe Lucas said something about, well, that is what he says. He says it would help to connect the prequels and originals, bringing it full circle. His inner person would go back to where we left off. And I think I said this last week, is my thought is that is the last time he was truly a Jedi and a good Jedi. Whereas he was only a good Jedi for the last 2 seconds before he died.
It's 2 seconds, though. It's 2 seconds.
See, that's where I'm at. Like but was he wholly? I don't know. I mean, he said you already have. I gotta save you. You already have. So I don't know. David.
I didn't like it. I think it was, besides the fact that it was a disservice to Sebastian Shaw.
Oh, thank you.
Shaw. I
don't know. He was asked at the last minute.
Oh, who Lucas was?
No, Shaw was.
Oh,
he was basically asked at the last minute to stand in and be the older
Anakin?
Jedi. Yeah, the older Anakin. So it's
well,
like,
I look at it too and say, okay, well, if you're gonna make Anakin the younger Anakin, why do we not get why would Obi-Wan opt to be an old Obi-Wan? Why not
because
opt to
he was
be
never evil.
Why not opt to be Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan? Yes, but you're dealing with the Force here.
No, he was
So,
always
you could change how you present yourself, is what you're stating?
Exactly.
no. That's not how the Force works.
Maybe he liked having legs and arms.
This is true.
I just want to know when he showed up to the netherworld of the Force, what all them little younglings said to him still.
No, I seen that meme. Oh,
you're back now.
Master Jedi or Master
Skywalker. It's time for payback.
And just forget the fact that they actually called him Master. Like, that really hurt him to kill him. Oh my goodness. So okay, so the first kind of thing that happened with Darth Vader from a movie perspective was that from the time that Jedi was released to what we have now, that was a huge change, and that was a big change, I think, fundamentally in what we believed. To your point, Debbie, the last time that he was wholly good or on the light side was back before he, became Lord Vader. But then to your point, even if it's, you already have saved me, Luke, well, what did that mean then? Was it? So I think we'll debate that forever, and Lucas will never tell us anything. But no, I appreciate that. So when we now have Anakin Force Ghost, and now we have, we'll go with Ahsoka and Darth Vader fighting in the temple with Ezra, all of that. So like, well, but yeah, that happens first, and then Ezra goes back and saves her, right? While she's fighting
Yeah.
Vader. Yeah.
Yes.
So in that first confrontation, that we know, like they both probably died or whatever, she died, whatever. Where he's before Ezra saved her, in that confrontation, do you feel there was a moment with Darth Vader that he retreated back into himself as having a connection with her, helped him kind of fall back into an Anakin something, if you recall that scene?
In Rebels?
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about Rebels? No, I don't think so.
No.
I think that was like almost Vader in his prime. I don't
Yeah,
think
that was
he
peak Vader.
And
Yeah.
in fact, I think the Kenobi series really kind of cemented that too, because you would have thought even with Kenobi, you know, the relationship that Anakin and Kenobi had before he turned, you would have thought, hey, he maybe there's going to be something in Anakin that comes out during Kenobi, but no, he was like, no, Anakin's dead. I am not Anakin anymore. I am Darth Vader, and you didn't kill me. I killed me.
Mm-hmm.
probably the only quality scene in the show.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
so as far as asking, yes, was there? Honestly, I don't think there's been any time since he changed to Vader where he kind of slipped back into that Anakin mode. Maybe just a little bit at the end, or at the end of during Jedi when he's talking to Luke and he's saying, you know, he says something like, Obi-Wan once thought as you did.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just a little bit, but nothing, not enough. You don't know the power of the dark side. So
yeah, and we saw him though also, we're going to come back to Obi-Wan. We saw him in Rogue One. Yes, Rogue One. And I thought we touched on that before, because it kind of fell within the timeline, but this is a piece that was created after those original movies. How do you feel? I've voiced my opinion already about the quips, but how do you feel about how he was portrayed in Rogue One?
I don't like the way he walks, but I feel like everything else is very Vader-like. I feel like
Yeah.
he walks too much like a normal guy, not a dude with robotic limbs, but that's probably a tiny bit of a nitpick, honestly.
And we're talking about, 20 years, right? In between. So you would think that,
19 in between Rogue One and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Because Luke and Leia were 19 years old in A New Hope.
Mm-hmm. But would you say that that's the same Vader that we got in Obi-Wan? Or even with with the Rebels?
I would say yes. The biggest issue that I had with Vader in Rogue One, and this again, like Cam said, this is probably just a nitpick, and really there's nothing that can be done about it, was the James Earl Jones has aged.
Yeah.
And you can hear it in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so the voice sounded off to me, and I mean, thankfully he didn't have a whole lot of, he just had that one scene with lines in it from with Krennic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the only scene where he had lines, actually, because I think even at the end it was just the hallway scene and it was just Vader being Vader. And
well, maybe he had a cold that day.
The voice in Rogue One's better than the one in Kenobi, the AI generated one.
Yeah,
I like the AI generated one, and the reason I like the AI generated one, and I'll say this, is because they incorporated Hayden's voice into it. So
Yeah.
you could it was a good blend of, and especially when he had his mask cracked and everything. That's why I enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, it was going back and forth, and He might have. I'm trying to think how many years between the Kenobi show and Revenge of the Sith.
10.
10
9 or
years?
10.
Yeah.
9 or 10.
Yeah. Because Luke and Leia are like,
Yeah, Leia's like
right.
9.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
if
So yeah, it's probably 9.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I don't think he might have been peak Vader at that time, but with him confronting Kenobi for the very first time, we're talking raw emotions and him not handling it very well, because even Palpy makes that, he points that out there at the end of the series about him. You're focusing on the wrong thing, boy.
Mhm.
So yeah, he was probably kind of peak, but not exactly peak as by the time we get to Rogue One
Mhm.
or even Rebels.
Yeah. Yeah, that I think what I always imagined is that you had Lucas creating a villain that had so much potential to be even more villainous, but the movies were made for children or kids. And I think that if you were to have seen what we saw in Kenobi, well, if you would have seen the younglings back in the I just don't know that it would have gone over very well. And kids wouldn't have watched because he was scary as crap. And then you got Kenobi where he flat out just some kid like whoa, and so it was always understood, I think, that he was this villainous creature. But seeing some of this played out in the last 20 years has, I think, increased his fear factor, if you will. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, first I have to disagree with Biscardi in the background or in the chat.
Oh,
hologram Vader.
No, Biscardi, no.
this was all together. Sorry. So they should have done Vader as a hologram in Rogue One, and then the hallway scene would have been even more amazing.
How?
Because he would have been killing all those guys as a hologram.
Or do
That
you
would have
mean
been-
when he was talking to Kenrick or
Krennic.
Krennic?
yeah, Krennic as a hologram, and then seeing him live in the hallway scene? Is that what you mean, Biscardi?
Gonna have to respectfully disagree on that one.
Respectfully. So, yes, Deb.
Oh,
There you
okay. So
There you
talking to Krennic
Okay.
as
Yeah.
the hologram, and then
because
in
then
real
the only
life.
time you see him live is when he's thrashing through. I got you. Yeah, that's-
Okay, all right. All
I
right.
got you.
I
Yeah,
respectfully agree
I
now.
do. Respectfully.
yeah, but think of it this way: if we hadn't, if Krennic didn't go talk to him in person, then we would not have had our first glimpse at Vader's castle on Mustafar,
True.
and cinematography and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was cool because we've only seen like concept art and whatnot as to what his.
But see, he
castle
didn't
looked
appear to Krennic. Krennic came to him. He probably called Krennic.
like. No, I think Krennic showed up unexpected.
And if he wanted, okay, so
Because doesn't the guy say the director Krennic wishes to speak with you or something? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Mhm.
there, but-
Yeah, because Krennic went there to make sure that he was still in control of the Death Star and not Tarkin, because Tarkin was kind of moving in on his territory. and he
Tarkin's
did
making a
not
power
like that.
play.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. Get some Tark.
So he wanted to go to the big guy and make sure.
Not the
that,
big guy yet. He go to the second in command. He'll go right above
Well,
Tarkin. Tarkin's not
that's
listening
true.
to him, so I'll go to Tarkin's boss. And if then Tarkin's boss doesn't listen, then I'll go to Vader's boss.
Do you think he would have went to the Emperor?
No,
Hey,
not at
no
all.
way.
No
No
way.
way.
No way.
He's not living to see another day.
No.
He goes to see the Emperor.
Why are you bothering me with this?
I
Right.
don't think that would have went over very well
Oh, what we got?
with old Palpy.
Skywalker. Vader dives into the dark side with both. Yep. Think he's gonna answer. Yep. Yep. Yeah. And we touched on that last week in the show. No, you're absolutely right. The assistant to the assistant. Oh my
And
God.
what Krennic doesn't know is that Tarkin and Vader are, I mean, they're not buds, but they have great respect for each other and they work well together. So I don't think Krennic realized that because he's a dumbass. He's only concerned with his own power and, you know,
Aspirations.
yeah,
Yes.
his choking on his aspirations and moving up the ladder. That's all he's concerned about. He wants to make sure he gets credit.
Dana, you got to get behind that. That is
I
great
can't.
dialogue right there. That is total Vader dialogue.
He's like a bad dad. Like I can't. It's just terrible. And he didn't even know he was a dad at that point. So he should have known because that crap was falling out of his mouth. So one of the things I wanted to touch on was future projects, and I think the tie-in to that is the new Ahsoka series, where you have in the world between worlds Anakin there, and maybe some of this may be outside of what my understanding is, and I probably need to watch it all again. Ahsoka, but was that really his Force ghost, or was that something that she manifested like Kylo Ren and Han?
Nobody knows.
That was a Force ghost.
No, because it wasn't glowing. I'm gonna go with that was kind of a manifestation of her subconscious.
No. I have to disrespectfully disagree.
Oh. I'm not saying that it was bad that it was Hayden. No, I don't mind that. I don't mind the fact that he was there. I just don't call it as a Force ghost. I call it as that was something that she could relate to, and that was something that she was manifested as so that she could see.
So she manifested it herself so she could convince herself she needed to live. That makes no sense. No. No. It was Annie. It was Anakin.
So I guess I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen anything about what I think everyone just kind of assumed it was a Force ghost from what I was reading, but I don't have it. I don't know what's going on.
I mean,
I want to be. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like some people are thinking it's like a Vader at some point in time dropped into the world between worlds. I don't know, honestly.
So if he's the one, right? Really, and this whole father tie-in and everything, if that's all stuff we've already talked about, but if that's kind of the direction they're going, wouldn't he be able to slip in between? He has this more omniscient persona now that he can slip in and out of wherever. Just a thought.
So I would think so, honestly.
So okay, if you're going to call it that and not a Force ghost, what was Han Solo in the Rise of Skywalker?
I think Kylo Ren was having he was having an anxiety attack or something. That boy was sick.
That was Leia.
That was Leia. Leia was dead.
Leia was already dead. No, this like when Han was being manifested in yeah.
Leia was dead.
Yeah, Leia was already dead. Because he'd already been healed by Rey, and she took off with a ship. And that's when he had this crisis moment. But he totally manifested that to convince himself to do what he needed to do.
Oh my God.
Just saying.
That movie is
just saying.
So we know we can do that, right? Anyone can do that.
So why couldn't Ahsoka have done the same thing?
But I think
I totally disagree with that one too. That was Leia. The moment she dies is the moment she uses the rest of her force to manifest Han to confront Kylo. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Damn it!
I love it.
That actually kind of makes sense, because if you watch The Force Awakens, she says, "Oh, shush, I can agree with you sometimes."
But it hardly ever happens.
She tells Han, she says, if Luke couldn't save him, what makes you think I can? Luke is a Jedi and you're his father. So her doing that to say Dad's got to save him, that makes sense. I'll buy that.
And I will have to I'm not going to disrespectfully, but respectfully disagree, because it was like, it's like 10 minutes from the time she dies.
Yeah.
Time that happened, or longer, because how long did it take Rey to run down, get into the ship, fly off after she had already stabbed him when he was distracted and then healed him and whatever? Like that's a long time to be just waiting to force project something. But I didn't write it.
I mean, in the Last Jedi, Luke was force projecting for whatever he was doing for a good period of time.
Yeah, killed him.
And then dies because he was tired.
It's too much.
No, that was explained in The Last Jedi. He said, "Are you doing this because the effort alone would kill you?"
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, being able to physically manipulate from being a force apparition from that, like, that's insane.
Like clear across the galaxy. I mean, who knows how many light years they were away.
The amount of, I guess, wisdom, knowledge, power that you would have to have in the force, and the amount of control over the force to be able to do something like that. Yeah, that's like a nihilist moment. Like you'd have to suck the life force out of somebody else, because you're literally expending everything you have to make that happen. And I say manipulate in that space, because yes, he moved his foot and it didn't move the salt, right? And we were like, oh, but he also dropped the what you call it? The dice in her hand. Now the dice ended up disappearing later, but that was something that Kylo actually was able to look like. It was insane. So just to be able to even manifest a piece of something to touch, I couldn't imagine what that would have taken. So yeah, I mean,
the way he interacted with Leia, I mean, he even kissed her on the forehead.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the lightsaber.
Well, if you think about it, though, I mean, really, we're all just a bunch of molecules, and we don't really exist. The molecules just touch each other. So if he could manipulate the Force enough to where he could create that molecule, and then the fact that Kylo comes up to him at the end and just stabs him, and it doesn't do anything. He just keeps stabbing him, and it's like at that point he's losing. He's not losing his connection. He's just kind of like the signal's fading at that point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is going out.
Yep.
So, what I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about tonight as well is the future state of Vader. I think we can all agree that having more Vader content is cool. But I'm sure we can all agree that having too much and saturation, and if it's just dumb, it's not worth it. And of everything, Star Wars, for me anyway, is don't mess with Vader. Like, be very intentional with him. What are y'all's thoughts?
If they do that, I think the Book of Boba Fett did the same thing with Boba Fett, to where, Boba Fett was everybody loved Boba Fett, even though he was on screen in the original 3 movies for like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And he had like 4 lines, something like that. So but he was still this, oh my gosh, everybody wanted to be him and everybody wanted to be like him. And then you get the Mandalorian season 2, and he comes back and he puts his armor on, and just kicks the crap out of all of those. And it's like, yes, this is the Boba Fett we wanted to see. But again, it was a very small dose. It wasn't. And then you had the Book of Boba Fett, and you're like, oh God, what did they do?
Yeah.
I think that was their mistake. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I liked the backstory of how he got out of the Sarlacc pit and how he lived with the Tusken Raiders and all that. But then they kind of stayed with it too long, and it was like, okay, people don't want to see that. They want to see him like they seen him in The Mandalorian, where he's just kicking ass and taking names. That's what they want to see. They want to see him being the badass that he is.
Right. Which is why Vader works so well in Rogue One, because you had the one scene where he talked to Krennic, and then you had the scene that was like everybody's favorite, where it was Vader being Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like just 2 minutes of Vader walking down a hallway slaughtering people. And I think, again, the same thing with Kenobi, where if he had been the main bad all the way through Kenobi, we would have lost something there. Yeah. That's why the sister, the Inquisitor, was put in, so that we knew Vader was there, and we knew he was kind of looming in the back, and he was going to pop up here and there, but we didn't know when. It was always the Inquisitor. So,
buried in Vader comics. Yeah, there's, and I was reading them for a while, for the first couple years after that latest series came out, but yeah, Anakin can always come back, teach Ahsoka, and that
he's not going to teach Ben though. I don't think he's going to teach Ben, because in the last film, Palpatine's like, I've been every voice, and he goes through all the voices. This is kind of the gripe. This is kind of the gripe I have with I loved Episode 5 of Ahsoka. I felt like I was a kid again with Hayden and all that stuff. But him being on Peridia as a Force ghost, and then his nephew is being manipulated by the dark side, and he doesn't. Essentially, like, Vader doesn't. If we're going off of what we're getting in the Ahsoka show, Vader doesn't care about his current family.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reading the book, and he comes to Luke, and I was telling Dana earlier, I'm reading the Shadow of the Sith book. It's all right. But, like, it just doesn't make any sense, kind of. Like, he wouldn't come back and train Ben, because he lets Ben be manipulated by Palpatine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the gripe I have with him coming back and being there for Ahsoka, but it just doesn't make any sense, kind of the way.
Well, he has more of a connection with Ahsoka than he does.
Yeah, because he died before Ben was even born. I mean, the only connection he has is name, blood. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in this book, it's saying a big evil's coming, Luke, and it's supposed to make things make more sense, but I'm not seeing how it makes things make more sense.
Are you done reading the book?
I'm halfway done.
Well, I'll finish the book, and then you can talk about it.
Have you read it, David?
I haven't.
Oh.
I'm just making that's just a logical fallacy.
I don't think it's going to, because I already know it happens. I don't think it's going to make anything make more sense. But I'm hopeful it does.
The problem is they can't bring Ben back. Skywalker. If they bring Ben back, it would make more sense to me. The problem is they can't, and that's because.
Adam.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that Force vampire that killed him.
Dude.
Oh, she was evil.
And that was a movie called Life Force back in the 80s. The space vampire women things, and that's what I thought of, like that moment.
Well, and it all made sense. I've always had this theory that because Rey is a Palpatine. She says, and this all is Rise of Skywalker. All of this is Rise of Skywalker. She heals the snake, and she says, I transferred a little bit of my life force to it. Oh, so you're basically, I gave it a year of my life. I think of the scene from Princess Bride. I just took 2 years of your life. Tell me how that feels. But then Palpatine discovers, hey, I can suck the life force out of these guys and regenerate myself. And that's what he starts doing. He starts rebuilding. He looks at his hands. He's like, oh, okay, let's do this. And he's basically sucking the life force out of them. Rey, being a Palpatine, just saying, it's in her blood. Obviously, she would probably be attuned to that skill.
Mm.
No, check this out. Ben heals her, and she says, oh, he gave me some of his life. I want more. She kisses him and sucks the rest of the life out of him. That's why he died.
I think you're mixing up. That's poison ivy.
It doesn't matter.
No, okay.
You're delicious.
A kiss is a kiss.
I think you're onto something there, and I
think she's evil.
I do not believe the intent was there, what you're describing, but that's
it makes sense.
See how it plays out like that, and
it makes perfect sense.
Palpatine ends up finding out the secret in the end that he and Vader had been looking for the whole time of prolonging life and all of this. So when you look at it, that was Palpatine's quest, was eternal life the whole time, and he finally figures it out. Maybe there is something to that, David.
This whole Rey movie is going to be about her taking on students, but there's never any Jedi, and people are like, why do we keep sending you kids as students? And because she's sucking the life force out of them so she can live forever. It's like a whole Highlander thing. There can be only one.
Man, give me some dark side Rey. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Cam, you're like, we went off the rails. You're not buying into it, huh?
I'm not buying into it. I'm not buying into it. I can't.
Oh my goodness. So I mean, when what we're talking about though is I think trying to be careful, right? And I don't know how much caution they're going to throw to the wind. There's been rumors about, a Vader-centric type piece at some point. I think what they've done with the video games and how they have him as the main villain in the Vader Immortal series, for instance, it's done really well. You only see him a handful of times, and when you do, it's in VR, and it scares the piss out of you because he's so big and he's ginormous. So I think as long as they're doing that kind of stuff, I'm going to be pretty much okay. I don't want them to, because it had such a great reaction from the fans with Ahsoka, I'm just worried they're going to go to that well. I don't know.
It just depends on who they got doing whatever they decide to do with him, honestly.
As far as story goes, that's the big thing is, I don't know.
I don't think, while there were great scenes in Kenobi, what was Deborah Chow? I don't think she understood Vader and Kenobi's relationship. Of course, when the writer on the show hadn't even seen Revenge of the Sith, it's kind of hard to, I guess, understand the dynamic.
That's like it's almost like it's with Vader because he is the bad guy. You want the movie to, Friday the 13th. Jason was not on screen the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare on Elm Street. What's his name? Freddy Krueger wasn't there the entire time. The bad guy's not supposed to be there the entire time. And if you're going to sit there and throw out a movie or a show, I couldn't stand it when Disney did. They did what, Maleficent, and then they did Cruella de Vil, and it was like, I don't want to see a show about the bad. Don't make me root for the bad guys. They're the bad guys.
Or like what they're doing with Venom and the Spider-Verse and all this Spider-Verse movies they're trying to make without Spider-Man.
All the Spider-Man villains are good guys, but
yeah, it's like, no, a villain's a villain. Vader's clearly a villain. There's just certain things.
Let's talk about intent, gentlemen. No, from peace. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't think they know what they're doing with certain stuff.
I think they just need to leave Vader as it is, to where he's. I hate saying like side character, because he's not really a side character. He's kind of the crux of the whole thing, but to where he's there, but we don't need to see him to know that he's there.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're I don't want to blend this, I guess, or blur the lines, but when you have Anakin making appearances versus Vader making appearances, is that different and why?
Yes, because Anakin's the hero. Bring Hayden back all day long. Bring him back as Anakin all day long. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to bring him back as Anakin, and then like they did in well, not in Ahsoka, but yeah, like they did in Ahsoka, bring him back and have him do a whole thing as Anakin, and then maybe just a little bit as Darth Vader, and Anakin Force Ghost kind of explaining this is why this happened, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So
That would make too much sense.
Yeah, I mean, even if I don't know if we're getting a season 2 of Ahsoka. I mean, everybody says there
They
is, but
better.
I've yet to see anything official. But
the way that thing ended, it needed another one.
him appearing to her and giving her examples, going back to the Clone Wars, which I absolutely loved seeing live action Clone Wars Anakin. That was awesome. Yeah, if they could keep doing that type of thing, like you said, Dave, like, flashbacks, only it's live action or whatever, and saying, this is why I did this, and I was either right or I was wrong or whatever. Yeah, I'm all for more Hayden. Y'all know I love Hayden, so. And
I mean,
he says
even-
he
Oh,
says
no.
he's willing to come back as much as they want him. So
Even him appearing, because I mean, we've had Luke appear now in The Mandalorian and in the Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to start his own Jedi training facilities, Jedi Academy, and so him coming to Luke and making an appearance with Luke, saying, "This is how you do it. Here's how you set things up."
Yeah.
Yeah, which that's my problem. Like I would like to see that, but we know what happens
Yeah.
after, and it doesn't it doesn't matter. He fails. They all fail.
That's
His grandson's worshiping a Vader helmet, telling him, "I'll finish what you started." Like, my guy, appear to your grandson or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something.
But now, if you notice, I don't. If you read Heir to the Empire, if you read the book, okay, I think it was the second chapter. Obi-Wan appears to Luke and says, "I can't follow you around anymore.
He's the chosen one.
It's been too many years. It doesn't matter. It's been too many years. I mean, it's been 5 years after Return of the Jedi, but I've got to go on and join the Force and blah blah blah." So maybe they do something like that. I mean, they've been pulling stuff from Legends and using it in some of the sequel stuff. So even if they pulled something like that and said, why didn't Hayden appear to him? Well, because Hayden's Force Ghost had moved on at that point. So he was part of exactly. It timed out as part of he's part of the Force now. So
well, and the other thing is you got to think of destiny or fate. That was Kylo's destiny and his fate. That, I mean, you can't have a Force Ghost come in and say, "Oh no, you can't do that. That's not who you think you're talking to. That's Snoke or that's Palpatine." You can't have these ghosts coming in and saving them every single time, because then what's the point?
Then they don't learn.
That's right.
If you kill them, they don't learn nothing.
Yeah, and it's like with our own kids, you got to let them learn their own mistakes, and make their own mistakes and learn from their mistakes. So
now you can be there and say, you might not want to do that, and kind of help poke them in the right direction. But eventually, I mean, it really does boil down to they make their own choices. So
just made more sense if Jake Skywalker hadn't tried to assassinate his nephew. I guess that probably would have helped.
Yeah. I can't imagine him doing that. So do you think with Boba Fett, from what I was hopefully understanding, David, is they went a little too far when they went with the Book of Boba Fett, and they kind of stretched and milked that a little bit? And I think that's what I don't. I understand that's what you were kind of getting at there. Yeah,
I think they should have made the Book of Boba Fett. I think they should have done just like a movie on it.
Yeah,
just basically had him escaping from the Sarlacc and then stepping in and taking over, stepping in and conquering Jabba's minions or whatever, and taking over his. It should have ended with him ascending the throne of Jabba, and then that's it.
Yeah.
We don't need to know. Oh well, here comes the mayor, and he's supposed to be paying me tribute, and here comes this guy, and he's.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not a crime lord, you're a magistrate. So quit calling yourself that.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what I'm afraid of. With the way that fans' reaction was to Anakin, with all of us losing our mind with Vader, any Vader we get. I hope that they just release it slowly. Let us have the bits. And one of the things I had in the outline was talking about video games. We've got Outlaw coming soon next year or this year, 2024, right?
Late
2024. What is the time frame on that game? Is that fall within the timeline? Does that fall within Vader's realm? And if so, could we see some side quest, something where you're having to get jacked up by Vader? You're an outlaw, right? So
it said it takes place between Empire and Jedi, so kind of in his time period.
oh,
yeah, so we could get some Vader in that, perhaps. There was a lot of cool stuff that they did with that Star Wars Galaxies game. They would have, of course, Life Day, but they also had like where you could see Vader, or you could see Wedge, or you could see Leia, and all these main characters. They would come in at certain times of the day or the month, and you would have these missions with them. It was really sweet.
Galaxies.
Star Wars Galaxies. Yeah,
Is that MMORPG one?
yeah, like
Okay.
2000 something.
Probably the only Star Wars game outside of X-Wing. I attempted to play that when that came out in the 90s or whatever, and I failed horribly. But yeah, Star Wars Galaxy. Yeah, I could have played that forever.
Oh yeah, I played it right up till Sony shut it down. It was so
I
fun.
thought they reopened it.
There's a couple of servers. There's one EMU server that I played on a little bit. That went back to the old way before they changed it to be more like WoW, the NGE new game experience.
Before the dark times.
Before the yeah, that was the dark times, man. We got real pissed. All of us, man, we were mad because then it was like anyone could be a Jedi. There was no. It was just a level.
Everybody was either a Jedi or Boba Fett.
Yeah, pretty much. Is that Travis? Newer Marvel run, they reveal some worship Vader as God of sorts, having. Oh yeah, that would be cool. Absolutely. Yeah, Galaxies. Horrendous cover art in the game. Absolutely, it was terrible. I tried playing on that EMU server a couple times. It's fun. But yeah, point of that being. I mentioned Vader Immortal, but that's kind of centered around him. Even in the video games with Star Killer, he was an essential part of the game with the story, but you only fought him like twice in the game. So I think using him intelligently would be absolutely great for Lucas, but for Lucasfilm. But I don't trust them that they're not going to oversaturate it. That's where I'm at.
I think how the Jedi games portrayed them were really well. I know some people had a gripe with the seer fight in the second game, but it kind of made sense to me.
Which game was that? I'm sorry.
Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah,
I think the way he's portrayed in those is really good.
I played through like the first 3 levels of the first one.
Oh,
and I own the games. I just haven't played them.
Yeah, older you get, Cam, your time just goes elsewhere.
I'm getting it in while I can.
He better. You know, my son is doing the Overwatch thing, so I'm trying to learn to play Overwatch, and I'm terrible at it. So I
Oh,
appreciate
God.
it, Zane. I know you're probably watching or not. He didn't have a camera. He was like, I don't have a camera. I can't join. He's staying over at his ma. So, but sorry. So off track. Sorry. So let's talk one more little bit here about future. If you were writing for Lucas art, film, whatever it is now, and you could investigate and come up with or fund a story about Vader, what would you want to see? And that could be in a book or in a movie. What would you want to see? I'll start just to give you an example because I think this is cool. I want to see training, some way, some form of training from Palpatine. How did he train Vader when Vader's like half a robot or whatever? Not full on robot, mostly like Grievous, where he could do all the crazy stuff. Like that's what I would want to see or read about. Now there is some of that in the book we were talking about. I'm pretty sure I can't remember the name of it again. Palpatine and Vader. There's a lot of, but it's more philosophical, right? And it's strategizing, and it's that kind of teaching, not really in-depth force teaching. So that's something I'd like to see or have more expanded on. How about you, Debbie?
Gee, I don't know, because like as much as I love Hayden, or even if he's playing Anakin or Vader, I don't. You just got to be so careful, and it's been said already, but you got to be so careful not to oversaturate. But now I haven't read the comics. I know I think I started reading at one point, and for some reason I life got in the way. But I started reading the Afra series.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And I think I read the first one or two comics on that. I don't know where it leads, but just him working with someone else or whatever. I don't know what she was. She kind of came to me, and I don't know if this is true. She kind of came off like a Indiana Jones type person finding
Artifacts.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just I think it's better to have Vader / Anakin in bits and pieces. Like if it's a series, just one or two episodes. Books, I don't mind having a full-fledged Vader book, because when I read it, if it's Vader, I hear James Earl Jones in my head. If it's Anakin, I hear, Hayden's voice. So
Matt Lancer.
No. I mean,
Travis,
he's good in
Rebels,
or not Rebels, but Clone Wars. But yeah, I always hear Hayden if it's Anakin. So
that's a good point. The weeks leading up to Return of the Jedi, him on the Verge of Life, thank you, Travis, and then the follow up to that, the last ride of Anakin Skywalker. Last time, I don't know. Who knows? Like, then he could free the enslaved people. And
here's the problem with that. And actually watching the original trilogy just recently, I kind of determined this. In Empire, when they go to Hoth, Vader is on the ground with the troops. He's infiltrating the base. He sees the Millennium Falcon take off, all that other stuff. In Jedi, when Luke surrenders, he's down on Endor. He's with the troops. He's hanging out, I'll take you to my master, blah, 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 blah. In A New Hope, we're going to have to destroy them ship to ship, get the crews to their fighters. I'm going to get out there and go fight with them. Go find the droids on Tatooine. You see to it personally, Commander. You go down there. I'm not. That's a lot of sand down there. I'm not going to do that. Lucas knew what he was doing before it even happened.
I know, that's fantastic.
I just had a thought. Because I would really love to see this, especially if it's done correctly and adapted like it is in the book. And that's the Thrawn series, where Anakin and Thrawn work together. And then as Vader, Thrawn knows who it is. I don't know if you guys have read the newest books. That I would love to see a live action. Because then you get Hayden as Anakin and Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like.
I forget the name of those books, but
there's a book that was written. It's one of my favorites, and it's a Legends now, unfortunately. But Darth Vader: Rise of the Dark Lord, and it takes place right after Revenge of the Sith. And so it's a lot of Anakin getting used to his bionic arms and legs and everything. He's hunting Jedi, which was great. That's what I want to see. I want to see Vader, hunt down and destroy the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Cameron?
Honestly, I agree with Darth Zane. That was going to be my first, but honestly, Travis kind of throwing that out there, kind of weeks leading up to Return of the Jedi would be actually kind of cool. Maybe get like a side by side of maybe Luke training to a certain extent, and Vader too, in a way. Kind of side by side of leading up to events of how we know play out. So,
heck yeah. Yeah, if we were all writers, we wouldn't be on this podcast, and we would have our own.
Well, we all know Dave Filoni watches and gets ideas. So
100%,
Dave, we know you're watching. There's some ideas we're kicking out to you. Go for it.
Yeah, but the thing is, they bring in these people like I think it was Cam who mentioned it. I think it was for the Kenobi series where they hadn't even seen Return or Revenge of the Sith, and it's like, why are you bringing in people who don't know the story? The story that's on film. Hello.
It literally takes 2.5 hours out of your life. Go watch the movie and then direct the episode.
Or if you haven't seen it, have people do research for you. Hello.
I mean, that's honestly my biggest gripe with Lucasfilm as a whole, and Dane and I and Zane a few episodes back when we were talking about the Acolyte too. It's just these people that are a part of these shows just say things, and you're just like, have you watched anything? Like, have you watched any Star Wars? I mean, just watch 6 films, and why are you saying these things? Just
have you even seen a trailer for these movies?
Yeah. I have sadly no faith in Lucasfilm to actually put people on the project that are, one, know what they're doing, but 2, are passionate. It's kind of like the video I sent Dana, that new Clone Wars Battle of the Heroes animation. Like, it honestly felt like I was watching the fight again for the first time. You could just kind of feel like the passion behind the people that animated it. It took them like 3+ years, and there's tons of fan films on YouTube where you get that feel of watching Star Wars again for the first time, and actually feel like the people behind it love what they're producing and give it to the fans.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Just writing Kenobi felt like people knew the plot. Yeah.
It makes no sense why Kenobi lets him live at the end of their second fight. Makes absolutely no sense. Why he doesn't just kill him.
Jedi don't kill.
Oh, whatever. They were killing in the Clone Wars, but they were droids, so it's fine.
They weren't killing. They were just destroying droids.
Yeah, just destroying droids.
I don't know. I like that whole scene with Obi and Anakin / Vader. I liked it.
I mean, I like the scene too. It just doesn't make any sense as to why he lets him live.
Well, then he wouldn't have New Hope.
I shouldn't have done that. He was an unarmed assailant. They took
Yeah.
he took your arm. You got revenge.
There's a lot about that series that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So
His fate will be the same as ours.
And they all three of them died on the Death Star
Yep. I
in
thought
some
that
form
was-
or another.
Pretty interesting. You think that was on purpose?
Yes, absolutely.
I think a lot of crap just happened to work out for Lucas and some of this, man. Unless you had
The
like
Force was with him.
a whole continuity team, and then a secondary continuity team, and there's still crap that gets past that we're like, what happened?
Well, and even Filoni's not perfect. I mean,
True.
if you watch Sam Witwer interviews, which
Oh,
by
those
the
were
way,
great.
Sam, I love you. He had, I forget what it is, but Sam had to point out
It was
to,
It was
Padme and
Padme's-
Anakin's mom.
yeah, Shmi, and introducing Padme to Shmi.
right. So it's like they're not perfect,
Mhm.
but when you have super fans like Sam Witwer, who knows freaking Star Wars inside and out and backwards and forwards and sideways, pointing something out to
Dave Filoni
know.
that knows Star Wars
Yeah.
backwards and forwards and upside
Yep.
down and sideways.
so it's like, why don't you employ people who know this stuff like the back of their hand?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm right here.
Sense.
Dave Filoni.
Literally, the name of the show is the Sith Dominion. Guys, we're all here. Listen, Filoni, we're at your disposal. All of us, one of us, none of us.
between
No.
all of us, we could probably,
We could crack out a good movie or two.
yeah.
Oh, it looks like Zane's trying to join now. No, I'm just he's like, hold on. wait for me." Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What else do we got tonight? Oh, I have a friend that I went to church camp with. I was a counselor. She was a kid that kind of grew up there, and I grew up there too. Anyways, there's a new show on that I was supposed to tell everyone to go watch that after our show on Hulu tomorrow, but it's on, I don't know, it's called The Floor. It's got your boy Rob Lowe in it. He's the host.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
What's it
Yeah.
called?
The floor. I've seen the previews for it.
Yeah.
What is-
Here, I'll show you the little thingy thing here. But I have to be careful what I share. Here we go. Share. Screen.
We're gonna get copyrighted.
There you go.
Yeah, for showing a commercial.
Yeah. So The Floor is the name of the series. This is Stephanie. I hope you listen, Stephanie. Hi. Yeah, and she's on the very first, I guess, season of this show. So
Nice.
it's essentially a trivia show, and the trivia show, the floor lights up when you get it right, but then it's also kind of like that old game where you put the marbles and you capture, take over the whole board with your marbles.
Othello.
Yeah, there you go. But it's like a ton of people, and you may not get a question for 3 days, and then you finally get a question, and now you get to take half the board because you beat the dude. Like, it's that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Check it out. I don't know what channel it's on, but it is going to be on Hulu, so it's one of those channels that are on Hulu. What else? Oh, are y'all's shows coming back this week or next week?
Next week on Monday. Monday we'll be back with MCU Mondays. We're talking about What If, the whole second season, so that we can go into Echo the next week, and then Cantina Happy Hours next Thursday. We kick back off. We're talking about the Ewok movies. Well, the first
Yeah.
Ewok movie. Yes.
Y'all
The
let me
kid-
know if you need someone to jump in.
What?
I got people need to see.
That was a good movie. Have you watched it yet, Debbie? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had 3 weeks and I haven't watched it. So
I need
that's
to
what I
watch
was asking you. I think it was today. I was asking, or maybe it was yesterday. I was asking, are we?
Are we
on?
are we back tomorrow? Because I need to watch this movie.
Yeah, I need to watch it and take notes.
Cameron, you seen those movies?
Mm-hmm.
That's about all we asked.
Don't sugarcoat it now. Tell us how
Yeah.
you really feel.
Uh,
Not a fan.
Oh, come on. They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun, but
Good popcorn movies.
No, did that really happen, Travis? That's insane. What?
Wait a minute. That sounds vaguely familiar.
Really? I had not heard that.
there were a bunch of people that read
For
the.
those of you in audio world, Freddie Prinze Jr. said one of the Kenobi scripts ended with Kenobi and Vader on Tatooine, both being kidnapped by Tuskens, both teaming up to fight them off. Thank you,
So
Travis.
you can't do that now because the Tuskens through the Mandalorian and the Boba Fett series, you kind of find out that they're not really bad. They're just
living their lives.
misunderstood. Yeah.
Boo-hoo.
There were some people that read the movie script that said it was one of the best scripts they'd ever read.
And it
What movie?
included that scene because I can't imagine anybody kidnapping Vader.
No.
I don't think it included that, but
Oh,
one
okay.
of the earlier scripts when it was supposed to be a movie was supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a very dominating team. They made that very clear in the movies that the two of them together. You'll need me on this one, Master. I know.
Oh, even in the Clone Wars TV show, it was like I can't even. How many times did they? Oh my gosh, it's Kenobi. Oh crap, Anakin's with him. We're screwed.
Yep.
We're just gonna give up now.
Yep.
So
All right. Well, oh wait, is there Saturday? Do we know if Heat Gauntlet's on?
don't know.
Don't
Don't
know.
know.
I
Well,
do know that
go ahead.
in about 20 days, I'm going to be at Lego Brick Fest in Dallas.
What? No
Oh,
way.
he's gonna be in heaven.
It's going to be awesome. All kinds of fun. We're going to have a blast out there. So y'all
Awesome.
come out and see us.
Awesome. We got AggieCon coming up next month. I need to reach back out to you folks at AggieCon. Please watch the show. We'll talk about you all the time. All the time. We talked about you whenever we went to the other con here in Bryan, or in College Station. That's coming up in about a month, so I'll be covering that for GNN also. And then what? What? I gotta
This
look
sounds
into this,
weird.
man. Seriously, he's making this up.
Is this
I
on
gotta-
Reddit or something?
It's
'Cause
a
that's
fan fiction. It's got to be a
Come
fan
on.
fiction.
I gotta look at that. After Vader and Ben beat each other, Vader's helmet being off so he can't breathe, then Uncle Owen shoots him at the end. What? 2016 script. We're gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
We're gonna stick a pin in that. It's now official internet record. We're gonna have to check that out. Oh, Freddie Prinze interview with Collider. All right, we'll
It
check
just
on
sounds
that.
hinky.
Sounds weird.
It sounds like a YouTube fan fiction.
So Sith Dominion will be off next week. I've got to take some time off. I've been doing this through the holidays. I've been keeping the whole channel afloat, doing shows. Oh, and Cam,
I was daily stuff in December.
yes, we had the Advent calendar and Lego Advent. It was so fun. Lego build every day. Every day. Yeah, I don't know what else you guys got for tonight. Are we good?
I think we're good.
All right. So I don't know what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks. I don't know who's going to be on the show, whether it's going to be all these people, none of these people, two of these people, who knows? But I will be here for sure. Depends on the topic, whether I'll be here or not. Maybe. Go watch The Floor and my friend Stephanie. It's on Hulu. Check out that game show. It is syndicated on whatever, ABC, NBC, I don't know, something like that too. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sticking with us through the holiday and getting the views over the holiday. Y'all must have been really bored. But we are appreciative. And go check out geeknewsnow.net and check out all the other things we have to offer. There's tons of podcasts and articles and everything from Star Trek to Star Wars to anime and everything in between. So with that, thank you, Cam. Thank you, Debbie. And thank you, Darth Zane, a.k.a. David. And remember, kids, peace is a lie. There's only passion. Good night.